Shout out to the big tuna in the house, Rodney Robinson. Thank you for jumping on in, the fishy man. I'm just, I love you, man. Yo, shout out to everybody here on the live stream. Are you feeling great? Are you taking advantage of this beautiful world that we live in? Did you wake up feeling wonderful and full of fresh air? If you had a bad day yesterday, if something didn't go your way, don't worry. Today's a new day. You get to start fresh with a new slate every single day. Did you go to sleep? Have a fresh, good night of sleep. I slept like a baby last night. I don't know what they put in that food I ate, but I was out like a lamp. Tell you that right now. So shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the cryptolifer show, and I hope you're doing well. Hey, Danny, how is the sync? Any sync masters here? I adjusted the sync slightly with the 220 reset. I want to see if anyone notices anything different from last stream. The light makes those eyes blue. Shout out to Laura Marshall. A lot of light on the eyes. Which side's better? Which side's better? Shout out to everybody here. You're making me blush, Laura. The Lifer ladies, they have really strong energy, and they seem to be amazing. So, shout out to all the Lifer ladies, Lifer gentlemen. Great place. You might just meet the man or woman of your dreams in the trading group. You never know. I'm just messing around. It's not very nice. You look fresh. Much needed sleep you got, my friend. Shout out to Nordic Luxury. This setup looks crispy. Shout out to Matthew Butler in the game. Bullish on the Lifer's modeling career. Shout out to Curtis. Oh my God, you guys, I just read it. I don't know what it's going to say, and then boom. You look great today, bro. Definitely have some amazing energy coming through. Shout out to Rodney Robinson. We love you, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for jumping on into the live. So we got some news for you. We're going to go over on the beginning of the day here. We got an inflation hedge or not. Bitcoin's true value is separation of money and state. Inflationary forces are still out there, and investors are thinking about how to best protect themselves. Is Bitcoin a way to do that? How the U.S. president is paying off everyone's student loans, how the Fed chair was skiing with his friends in the Tetons, like they actually care about you, doesn't seem to be the case. How the professional smart guy Zolan Polzar is scaring the living daylights out of us again by writing The Unfolding Economic War. These are just interesting. Meanwhile, no one is talking about if Bitcoin is or isn't an inflation hedge. Thankfully, each of these things everyone is talking about, or at least loosely tied to the inflation in some way. So I'll do that. So is canceling student debt inflationary? First off, U.S. government isn't paying off everyone's student loans. What Biden administration announced was that people who both hold federal government student loans and earn less than $125,000 a year will have either $10,000 or $20,000 of their loan balance forgiven. There's a nitty-gritty details, which you can get by listening to the NASFAA podcast. But the main question we want to answer is it inflationary? Here's the argument that it will be. Canceling student loan debts will put money in the pockets of Americans, and those Americans will use that money to buy more immediately. The immediate consumption bump will meaningfully contribute to more inflation. Here's an argument that it will not be. Canceling student loan debts will leave money in the pockets of Americans, and those Americans will use that money to consume more gradually over the course of their lives. The gradual consumption bump won't meaningfully contribute to more inflation. I very much like the argument about canceling student debt won't immediately cause inflation, yet the coronavirus pandemic stimulus checks were. But there's, to me, anytime you put more money into circulation or you make money seem free, you cause inflation. When you just cancel debts immediately, to me, that's inflation. There's really no way about it. Here's the thing about it. It's also, inflation is in the minds of men. And it all starts with an idea and a belief. You're running a company, you're paying everybody a paycheck, right? And everyone's getting a paycheck. And, all of a sudden a guy comes in and you're like, you know what, Danny? Everyone works 8 hours. I give him $400, but you know what? I'm just going to throw you $100 because you know what? I'm going to give you let's just say, or it's $20 an hour. You're like, I'm just going to give you $60 today on top. And everyone hears this, like, for whatever reason. You're like, I'm just going to give you an extra $60 on top of your paycheck. Like, he didn't do any work for it. He didn't do anything for the money. Everyone who does something for the money is going to be like, well, why does he get something for the money? You know what I'm saying? And then it devalues the idea of the dollar that you're paying. At that $20 an hour, everyone starts being like, well, if he can just get it for free, then why would I, And it's not a good idea, too, for society. It creates a lazy society. I'm happy for the people that got bagged, too, at the same time. I'm on both sides, believe me. I feel bad for the people that got suckered into paying a high student loan for probably a sad to say, a document, you know, that they may never use really to produce any type of gain for their life, right? Like there's certain, I went to school for film. Like they taught me how to touch cameras. They taught me how to actually edit. I touched cameras, I edited. They taught me how to write, you know, on a TV format. I had good teachers that actually had worked in the film and TV industry. So I felt it was the closest hands-on thing you could do to go to school for. It was like going to a trade school if you went to film school, because you were touching everything. So, and now here I am. Here I am, 18 years later, or 17 years later, 39 years old, from when I was 22 years old. What's in front of me right now? A camera. What do I have right here? A microphone. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Singapore. Singapore is planning to roll out new regulations that will make it more difficult for retail investors to trade cryptocurrencies at a time where they seem to be irrationally oblivious about the risks, said the central bank. They know nothing, and we must protect them, says Singapore. So look out for more regulation from Singapore out of Reuters. That is trending today. Big news in the markets. And Formula One files trademarks related to NFTs and crypto. About time, Formula One. You got to get in there before somebody else does. Racing behemoth Formula One has filed 2 trademarks related to its non-fungible tokens and crypto for the Las Vegas Grand Prix event, which is expected to take place in November of 2023. You can buy Lambo with Shiba Inu in Las Vegas. You can now buy Lambos with Shiba Inu. That's pretty cool too. That's actually some pretty cool news. You can now buy a Lambo with Shiba Inu in Las Vegas. That's pretty cool. Anyway, let's get back into the chats. Let's talk about it. I have like a cool idea of how my alert system works. I'm going to explain it for anyone that wants to know, but we're going to do that later on in the section. If you stay tuned for that, we'll keep you updated. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Off the bat, I have an FTX chart that I've been using for whatever reason, started there, so I got to kind of begin there. Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at BOOKMAP. Let's take a look on this beautiful day. So look, nasty red candle to the downside. And if you were in my trading group, what did we talk about? Well, we talked about the 15-minute. And I said, you know, can the 15-minute break out of this rising wedge to the upside? Now, it's more of a likelihood based because you had a rising wedge. But at the same time, when a rising wedge breaks down the length of the wedge, see? This is your length from this top of this area to this area. And look, I just can't, you know. And learn this. How do you find out where a rising wedge is going to go? Take a nice angle here from there to there. And I took price action too, but you know, that's going to be your top to the price action wick. So bring that down. And that's you. And when you break out of a rising wedge, you break straight to the downside. Look, this was also a shoulder, head and a shoulder. It looked like a Bart Simpson. And I even said to my crew, I was like, man, that's very Bart Simpson. Now there was a chance, you know, more of a chance we'd break up. At the same time, the 4-hour did not look good, right? And we were at the top of the channel. And it's more likelihood that we were going to break down to the bottom of the channel. If you got a Bitcoin update from me this morning, you know, and I'm not trying to say I'm always right, you know, I do have a thing saying, you're like, oh no, but you wanted to break to the upside. I said, maybe. This is what I actually looked at. I said, we're going to watch the 15-minute. I said, if it breaks to the upside, fine. I said, but that doesn't matter. I said, it's going to have to break up and get above the zone. If we make an M, look for a short to the downside, you know. This shorted pretty fast and furiously. You know, you don't always have to catch the short. At the same time, the time to catch the short too, we did point out bearish divergence on the 1-hour time frame. And when you see bearish divergence, it's likely that there's going to be some pain. So, and look here, what is bearish divergence? Let me break it down for you. Bearish divergence, you have a swing low you have a high here, you have a secondary swing high. If you take that, they swing to the upside. You see that? But if you take this, they do not swing to the upside. They swing to the downside on the RSI. And so when these angles do not match, or if that's an uptrending hard trajectory and that's a flat trajectory, you have bearish divergence. And look how bearish divergence did end up playing out to the downside. The algorithms pick up on this. They trade on this hardcore bearish divvy. Let's give you a cleaner chart. Let's break down where are we going, what levels to watch as Bitcoin is dumping immediately right now off the top of the channel. And look, this is what you see. And you can see my yellow line pointing to the downside. And this is the 4-hour, you know, the 4-hour was overbought. The 1-hour was getting overbought, right? So both, and it was bending too. So like both didn't look too healthy. All right. So let's freestyle now. Let's break it down. We're on Binance. Let's look at our big levels, our small levels. Let's talk about it. Another thing I want to look at too real quick is I want to go to total And I want to see how total's doing with that 200 simple moving average. That's important, right? We want to see how total is battling off the simple moving average for the crypto total market cap here. Total on the 1 hour, all right? And the same thing we got going here. Look, could we get the bounce? You know, now we must bounce here, or can we get rejected and do we continue to the downside? Like, so we're already talking the fact that we probably would get rejected here, right? 4 hour was very overbought. You see, so this is my trajectory here, but like the idea is, can we bounce off my green zone? Or are we going to make a bearish retest and continue to the downside? Then do we make a giant double bottom here, you see? So we've been waiting for these dumps. We've been talking about the bigger areas. Let me show you the areas to watch on total. What is total? It's the entire market cap of all of cryptocurrency, okay? Every single, you know, crypto combined into one. And you want to see this because these levels are huge. These levels matter, all right? So look, we have major support here because we have bounced and had two big resistance zones at about $930 billion. However, we lost the $1 trillion region, right? 1.03, and then we lost 1 trillion right here. This was our zone. Once we lost $1 trillion, all right, I mean, that's when things got rough, right? And you know that's psychological support and resistance too. And you just think about it, $1 trillion, everyone's like, oh my gosh. So easy place to short was that big area, and then once we fell below it, and then this bearish retest. So we came back for a bearish retest right now. Can we find support is the question. It's more likely because the bigger idea is this. Take away this zone. We don't need it for now. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up. You're likely to head to the downside. Until you make the double bottom, usually is where it all ends. Just like the double top here. Eventually you make a double top of something at the, you know, and if we flip this upside down, that's why I use Alt-I. Because look, this falling wedge that broke up is just like a rising wedge that breaks to the downside. And look, looks like an inverted cup and handle that would dump on you. So could it be a cup and handle to the upside? There's a chance. I mean, it's called an emerging cup and handle. We call it a Nike cup and handle because it looks like the Nike sign. Funny idea. Shabby cup and hattie to the upside. Nice. You know what, Marv? Now, last time it was 1944. I was watching Jack Johnson box. No. But you must watch that 4-hour documentary by Ken Burns about Jack Johnson. What an amazing individual. He actually formed the scope of my life. Jack Johnson. I love this dude. You know, he broke social norms in the world. There's always people that I gravitated to that really changed the world. Jack Johnson, the boxer, not the guy who plays the guitar, all right? This guy right here, he was a big old boy. Jack Johnson, you know, the Galveston Giant, was an American boxer who at the height of the Jim Crow era became the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion. I mean, he led the way for Mike Tyson. I get goosebumps. He was the first African-American heavyweight in the world. There's something about his life story that just really hit me. And, you know, he used to come into town with, like, you know, first of all, he used to race into town and get a speeding ticket when the speeding tickets first came out. And the cop would hand him a speeding ticket, and he's like, why don't you just write me another one, because I'm going to be speeding on the way out, too. You know, and he was just a I'm going to do me kind of guy. And he was one of the first type of that time. And he really left a mark. He's been remembered forever in my mind. He left an indelible mark on my life. Indelible, a great word that I like. I like to just teach at all times, even if it's, you know, indelible. Impossible to remove, erase, or wash away. Permanent. Like, he left an indelible mark on my life. You know, Jack Johnson, man. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for coming on in. So, what we're doing here is we're freestyling. And what freestyling means is I just look open-minded to see what's happening. So we can see we have heavy resistance for Bitcoin at 25K. Everyone can agree with that, right? Can we agree with that? All right, so the crowd says yes. All right. We see we have nice support at the low range after the bounce on the wick. All right, can we agree with that? That's our low range support. All right, the crowd does agree as well. Okay. ES1 is likely dumping to the downside as well, and we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see what levels we have to deal with. Don't worry, we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. Where is Bitcoin going right now in this dip? That's what we're going to figure out for you immediately. So we bounced here. We had this nice area here because, look, resistance, and it makes sense. Like, these candles couldn't get above it. Okay. And we have to put it in our bound zone. So these are our major areas to watch for support and resistance. All right. We go to our 4 hour, and you can see this is our major resistance line now that we've been forming, and this is the major support line that we have now. And that's a falling wedge. Falling wedges do break to the upside. 68% of the time, can we get it? High stochastics overbought, pointing down on the RSI, and the MACD also in a bit of a bearish curve here, right? How much do the bears have? That's the question. How much do the bears have? Can they push us around? We're going to take a look at BOOKMAP together. We're going to break it down, and we're going to show you. So we called this bullish divergence here, and it was a big one. Look, from this low to this low is a swing down. From this low to this low is a swing up. That is bullish divergence, all right? You see that? And we suggested a possible bounce. We'll take those away because they get messy if you keep them around. Go to the 1 hour, and we also showed you a bullish divergence here on the 1 hour. And when you have double confluence, which I call on the divergence, you're likely to get a bit of a move. However, the rally was short-lived, right? We couldn't really break above the zones that we talked about. And we already had these kind of gone over multiple times. 20,005, 6 really was our area, and we couldn't get above this chop. And you heard me say, if you can't get a candle to close above 20,600, 20,500, expect more downside. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, so far, that's what's starting to occur here. So we can't. And then, we don't even really have to talk about the next region, which is this POC at 21,500. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't even get, and here's our next big zone here at 20,800. So I said to everyone, if we can't see above 20,800, which is the zone right here, I said, that's, so everyone that's a moon boy or tells you we're going anywhere, it's just like, we take it step by step, one level at a time, okay? So if you're in my trading group, look, this is also a rising wedge. Rising wedges break down 68% of the time. We start to make the rising wedge, all right? So these are your tells, and we're dropping. Now, the 1 hour does want to make a bounce here. You see it's getting oversold. So can it hold? So what I call these things called the twisted sisters. See this? You can make these like two patterns. This one really isn't the best. But what you can do is you make two patterns. And you see what pattern Bitcoin wants, like we could bounce here and end up in this wedge that could break us on out. Or do we break this level and continue to the downside? And it's just easy ways to see if you want to stay in a trade or not, because you got to set up your zones, So the idea behind this whole thought process is the 4 hour likely to dump down. Do you bounce here to the upside? And that's going to be the question. That's going to be our zone. That would be a good place to open up some longs for a relief rally, or it's going to be a good place to continue the short or open up a new short, as we see that we do not make the double bottom. So this area is going to be a big area we're going to watch at 19,500. All right. And Bitcoin. So right now, the 15-minute and the 1 hour are very oversold. So what they're saying is they're like, all right, we dumped, but, we're trying to hold this zone here for a V-shaped recovery back to the upside. To me, it looks like a long squeeze, in my humble opinion. I don't know why people were longing right now. I don't know what gives people, I guess they see low stochastics on the 15 and they just want a long. But, you can't just do whatever you want. You have to look at support and resistance. For instance, like these areas aren't able, even if you're low on the stochastics, that's great, but you're not able to get above support and resistance. And look, you bearishly retested the outside of a falling wedge. Right there. Right there. That's a bearish retest. Try to get in, bearishly retested to the downside. You see? Bang. Shoulder, head, and shoulder there. We did break down. I felt like that hit the measured move, which it did. Continue to the downside. And even on like the 5-minute and the 7. The 7-minute is a lot of time is my tell. And look, the 7-minute rolled over on you and wasn't going to give you the zone. Fell right down. Let's take a look at ES1, which is Bitcoin futures. That's going to give us a little bit of insight too as well. So right now, think the whole market's overbought on the 4 hour and we're at resistance and we're tweezer topping. Like that's a tweezer top. And we talk about tweezer tops, right? Like two candles together. It's a tiny tweezer, but no, right there. Yeah, that's tweezer topping right there. Those two candles together with tweezers on the top of them, overbought on the 4 hour. You're likely to head down to the bottom of the pattern. You see? Just like tweezer bottoms. And you've played tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms with high stochastics, You have a pretty good, and bearish divergence, which we couldn't see on the 4-hour, but we could see on, and actually look, hidden bear, hidden bullish. This is kind of flat, almost a swing up, and this is a sharp swing to the downside. So that's slightly hidden bullish divergence in my humble opinion too. All right, hidden bullish divergence, which tells you that you'll probably end up lower than this low. Just like if I saw hidden bear, sorry, that's hidden bearish divergence. If I saw hidden bullish, higher than the previous high, that's hidden bullish divergence right there too. Hidden bullish. I mean, why do I keep saying hidden bearish? Hidden bearish divergence. Swing high to the downside, but these almost swing flat or to the downside. Hidden bearish divergence. Man, work keeps getting in the way of the live. This stream is way more important than anything here in my office. Not financial advice. Rather, a security is a I just opened a scalp long. Take profit is 20,379. And possible idea there on the 15-minute time frame. I was trying to see if there's a way to be like, all right, we're still in the channel. But to me, I don't like to cheat the channel. When I cheat the channel, I tend to get I tend to get hurt. Like when I keep it traditional, because you don't want to fake out, it fell out, you know what I mean? So, rather a security is a fight. Where's the lemon water? I'm drinking a Spindrift, you know what I mean? And the reason why is because I don't trust the water here. We don't have a filter. The water smells a lot like, it smells like chlorine, you know what I mean? And I'm not into that at all. So shout out to the 610 people on the live. I didn't ask for the likes today. I was going to just not say a word. Amazing if I don't say anything. 222 people on the live stream. Can we get the likes up to the watchers? I would humbly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much on this Wednesday. It's boring Wednesday, this flat Wednesday. We're going to take a look at the ES1 too as well and show you what's happening. Shout out to everybody here on the live stream. We need those likes, everybody. Come on. If you're jogging, stop jogging, hit the like button. If you're at home watching on TV, I don't know how it works, but move that little thing. If you're on your phone, flip it sideways or vertical. Hit that like button, please. Thank you so much for everybody here. I greatly appreciate it. I've watched things before and forgot to hit that like button. I didn't mention it today. I wanted to keep quiet. Just wanted to see what would happen if I didn't say a word. And there you go. Because I don't like begging for it. It is what it is. It's just part of the algorithmic life in which I live. So if you want to help my life, I live in the algorithm. I'm a virtual man. And I live in the virtual space of cryptocurrency. So help out the man. And look, there's a massive dump to the downside for Bitcoin. Massive dump. There you have it. I mean, 4-hour time frame. And a lot of times the 4-hour will take over. Very overbought on the 4-hour at the top of the channel. Wow. Look at that. Massive sell-off for Bitcoin. Rising wedges break down 68% of the time too as well. And the flag did not break out on the 15-minute. Just went sideways, and then we started to make a move here, And it was a bearish retest here of the trend line and to the downside. Okay. Is everything okay? Okay. Wow. Massive dump for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the rest of the market. ES1. And it was the jobs report. Jobs report was coming out. Nasty jobs report. Look at this. Woof. Woof. And look, we even have this drawn to the downside. I mean, this is a bear flag. Bear flag with a measured move down here to about 39. And we break 4,000 on the S&P. And see, look, Bitcoin follows the S&P directly. Massive dump of the market. Massive dump for Bitcoin to the downside. Look at that. 3S tokens getting paid right now. Andy Smith still in a short since 1690. You're funny. Double bottom at 19,500. Possible. We're going to watch this S&P too. The S&P does not really have, the S&P would have to double bottom right here. And it really looks like it didn't. It's making a lower low. See that? We're going to take a look at the S&P here, which is falling. Our next level for the S&P is right here. You can see there's really no high volume node for it. So that tells me Bitcoin's going to 18,900, maybe somewhere below 19,000. The S&P could possibly drop to 39.57. All right. So our next big measured move and we got rejected. I had this called out. We were looking at these zones. S&P had to get back above the level and get back in the channel. See, look, this was the falling wedge. It fell out of the channel, came back up. It was getting rejected by the channel, not looking healthy. You know what I'm saying? Can we just hit 17K mark already? Gee, shout out to Scotty Swing in the house. You're such a cool guy, man. Shout out to Master TT. Thank you for coming on in. So thank you for being here. So 4,000, we need a bounce here. We desperately need a bounce. Massive dump for Bitcoin. You know, as recession woes come on in, and I bet you the jobs report was horrible to the downside. You know what I'm saying? Sean, can I get a jobs report link or something like that so I don't have to scurry for it? Sean or Porter, anyone watching the live, can I get some type of jobs report link? I know the jobs report came out. I just don't want to have to scrounge for it real quick. Would love to just see if we could get something real quick, a link that I could flip up and we could take a look. And yeah. Thanks for all watching. You from Montevideo, Uruguay, in my work office. You're amazing, my friend. Shout out to everyone watching me there in the Montevideo, Uruguay. Wow. In Montevideo, Uruguay. We love you. Shout out to everybody out in Uruguay. I appreciate you. Yo hablo español, you know. Me llamo Samuel. Te gusta technical analysis mucho, right? Yo no mucho palabras, you know. En la español, estudio español para 5 años, but mucho años atrás, 20 años atrás, yo no remorse mucho. You know, yo no hablando muy rápido. You know what I'm saying? This dude said horrible, man. You know, but like, you know, most, you know, yo sé mucho palabras. Yo no comprendo tú hablando muy rápido. So, I'm Brazilian, but thanks for the Spanish, man. You know, right? He's like, yo, you think the whales were trying to bring the Bitcoin market cap to 300 billion? TRX is ripping. Pretty good considering it's been 20 years. I know, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll take a look at BOOKMAP too and take a look at the liquidity here on BOOKMAP. What do we see happening here on Le BOOKMAP? So we see us coming on in here, getting locked up. Still more liquidity back at 20,750, 20,002. It looks like they're just gobbling up some longs here on the low here. Liquidity grab, liquidity stash here on the liquidations. Interesting enough. We did see a lot of liquidity down there too, though. It's like back and forth, but you do see more up there. Kind of got erased, though, just now. Look at that. See, they spoofed it up in a way. But right now, it's kind of done. It's almost saying they may pull us back up to the 20,300 region. Look, you see no liquidity down here. There's just not as much as up here, too, as well. There's someone just poked in at 19,006. Interesting. So BOOKMAP, too, just not, you know, you don't have a thick order book. Well, there's another liquidation. Longs are getting liquidated, though. 45,000, 51,000, 54,000. Look at the longs just getting shredded. And that's what happens right here with BOOKMAP. You can see actual liquidations. Use the link below to get into BOOKMAP. I have the best discounts for BOOKMAP, yearly, monthly, global plus. And you're going to be able to see liquidations of almost any asset you want throughout the markets, depending on you know, what you use and what you look at. But BOOKMAP really gets it for Bitcoin, which really is the steer of the rest of the world markets for crypto, you know. So if you're trading crypto, you didn't even know where Bitcoin's going. Wherever Bitcoin go is really the move, right? Longs are getting wrecked. Jobs report 11.24 million, previously 11.04 million. Interesting. Bang, bang, bang. We still made some gains recently, and I want to talk about this idea here. If you're in my trading group, all right, I want to mention this because this is a hard concept for a lot of people to begin to understand because I created it and you really can't find it anywhere else. So it's not like you can reference it if you don't know what I mean. So right here, I posted this. I said, we're watching VAI on 824, right? I said the 4 hours overbought. Two things are probable. We squeeze out on a Bitcoin short squeeze and there may be an entry on a retest, or we fail to the bottom of the pattern. And that is the other entry I am considering. Now, the short squeeze is less likely, right? Because it's more of an anomaly. So when I looked at the chart, I looked at the chart like so. And I'm saying I'm waiting for it to come here, so I set an alert for this so I could snatch it when the 4-hour got low. You see, this is my alert system. Okay, now you never know where the price is actually going to go, and that's why you draw 2 lines. You never know where price action is going to go. You know what I mean? At all, right? So and when you think of that, you're like, okay, if I don't know where price is going to go, then I have to have these 2 ideas ready off the bat. So when we look at this here, falling to the downside, right? Falling to the downside. Coming down. Yeah. So if this is coming to the downside, I set an alert down here. And if the alert comes down and bounces to the upside, bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? And so, look, if we watch VAI and we go back in time, all right, and you can see I had it drawn exactly. So this is exactly what this was like on 8/24, okay? And this is why I use my alert system with stochastics. Comes to my alert, I snatch it up, and then after the alert, buy in, and then boom, a gain of 14% on that candle to the upside. Snatch out whenever the stochastics get up, and it's the stochastics trade. Low stochastic, high stochastic, in and out with the alert system, 14% captured in the market, regardless of any market really. And you can really do this because that move can happen, honestly, in a bull or bear market. Look, it moved there, it moved there, it moved there, it moved there, it moved there. This move happened multiple times. Now, there's certain areas I like to snatch it, right, that are better than others, but I just want to teach you that idea. You know, definitely timestamp this if we can and call it, and then I want to actually see if we can actually clip this out. There's a clip button here, so if someone can help me out, see at the bottom right while you're watching, you see clip? You can go back in time, rewatch this, and you can clip that out. I'd like that clipped out if we could by anyone in my group, any one of my admins, any one of my moderators, anybody out there that's a lifer. I'd also like that then put into the learning library. If I'm the only one that can do it, let me know. Send me the clip and we'll put it in. But I want to make sure this is clipped out because this is a great example of how to use the alert system and how it works, and no matter what market conditions. And really, that's why I began to teach it, and that's why I use it, and that's why I made it, because I was trying to find a way to create gains no matter what way the market was going, and try to figure out how I could set myself inside of a move before the move happened. And I did a lot of back testing and years of playing around to do this, and we eventually got there. So yeah, the alert system with stochastics RSI really can change your life. It's unbelievable, but I believe it's hard to grasp. It's not easy. So I want to do as many visuals as I can and just hammer it home until people really get the idea here. All right. So Bitcoin taking major dumps to the downside, and that was really just a rally to the top of the channel. Anyone should never have expected any more. Once we hit the top of the channel, very likely we were coming down to the bottom of the channel. Like that's just trading 101. All right. And if you didn't expect this, if you're like, oh my gosh, you know, there was also bearish divergence on the 1 hour time frame that we talked about too as well earlier this morning. So bearish divvy. Now it doesn't always play out that fast and furious, but you know what? I guess jobs report following the ES1, and that's the S&P. The S&P is taking a hammering to the downside. Honestly, it's likely we head all the way right here to 19,529. You know, and how you see if we're going to continue to the downside is by watching the smaller time frames. And look, we're not making any real, you know, efforts to stop a dump. You need to start making some type of flags, or you know, these are bear flags that can just continue to the downside. So major sell-off for Bitcoin. I guess a lot of newbies were putting stop losses on the way up here. People suggesting there must have been moon boys feeding people these ideas. Oh, we're gonna break out and go to the upside, right? Man, I kept saying, hey, if you can't get above 20,500, expect more downside. Like that was, you know, if a daily candle and a 4 hour candle can't close above 20,005, you know, and you couldn't even really get above 20,450, that was really your line in the sand. So once Bitcoin basically couldn't commit to a higher move, and that's why I said, oh, okay, we're gonna watch this flag and see what this flag does. Second, you close and you come here and that candle closes in the 1 hour, that's when you open the short because your idea broke. Like the flag didn't break to the upside. It's a dirty flag. The flag, you know, like a dirty flag is a broken flag. You know, you can't even see, look, a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder there before the dump to the downside as well. You know, this could have thrown you off because you have low stochastics, but the 7 minute, yet again, is the one to go to. The 7 minute shows you it's time to take the move to the downside. So by using the 7 minute and the POC, look, here again, All you have to know how to make this trade to the downside is by using this rising wedge. Here's the POC, the point of control, right? Understanding the concepts that I go over, which are stochastics, RSI, and support and resistance. So the second we went up here, you make your heightened resistance level, and you're like, all right, here is resistance, okay? Resistance, and you're like, okay, Bitcoin must get above 20,564, and then you watch. Stochastics come on up, and we make a high. All right, that's going to be my moment. Like, we got to get above that zone. Like, that's going to be the zone that we must break. Comes back up to the upside, doesn't break that previous high. Now you're already kind of worried. You should already be like, all right, that's interesting. We're making a lower low. Comes up again. The next time you come up here, you're lower here. The next time you come up, you're even lower. Now you're like, man. And then when you throw the POC in here, and you're like, wow, we just retested the POC, which also happens to be the diagonal region of the rising wedge, which also happens to be the top of the bigger channel that we talked about. And whenever you hit the top of a channel, you're likely. So if you just pattern trade like a goldfish, and what I mean by that is you say, hey, if price gets to a top of a channel, then Bitcoin, so basically whenever you draw a channel, you tell yourself price will stay in the channel till it doesn't, like to infinity. So what I mean by this is this, look, you draw this channel here, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, till it breaks out or down. It's staying in the channel until it has no room to move. Like, you just have to assume that. So if you assume that, it comes down to the downside. You know what I mean? And then there it comes to the downside there. So up, down, up, down, up, down. You know what I mean? So look at this. And look, it continued to the downside here too. And so the point of the story is this, right? You assume price action stays in the channel. Then look, you also do the same thing here. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And then look, you start to break on out. So price action will stay in the channel until it doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Simple as that. And by doing, these are rules that are hard to kind of keep in your mind because they're like prerequisite rules that if you don't have a set of trading rules in a system, you know. So we're likely to head all the way down here, 19,530. Like, we're going to continue to dump, in my humble opinion. The only way you're going to stop this is somewhere on the 30-second chart. Look, and until we make some type of flag or some type of inverted head and shoulder, this will continue. So we're looking at a dump to continue here to the downside. And why is that? Well, because we're looking at the ES1. And we know the ES1 hasn't hit its level yet either. And I had this drawn for ES1. And if you were in my trading group, you were privy to this information. We made this beautiful rising wedge. We fell out of it. We basically bearishly retested the bottom of the wedge here. Fell to the downside. Then we fell and broke here. And look, now you broke a high volume node. Whenever you break a high volume node, you're likely to continue to down lower to the next set of liquidity, which is right here. Look. See, it sticks out right here. See it? And so that's the main reason I believed we were going to head back to 3961. All right? Because once you break a POC or a high volume node, it doesn't have to even be a POC. You're likely to head to the next one. So the S&P, you know, and Bitcoin follows the S&P. So this is how you can kind of tell where the bleeding will stop for Bitcoin. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to all the new people here on the live. How many new people are here on the live stream? Thank you for jumping on in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I have a fixation on squirrels today, NFA. BTC blowing past all the POCs. Well, this is what's happening. It's waiting to get down here with the S&P. That's all. Take a deep breath. It's okay. Thank you, Sam, for your update this morning. Money, 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 money. Shout out to J Cobra. Sam, you're doing such great work, my friend. Shout out to Roddy Robinson in the house. Dang, man, all this dumpage is making me hungry. Isn't that weird? Me too. You know what? I want to eat through the stress, you know. Sam, these are typical Elliott wave charts. Shout out to CJ Baker. It may be for you and it's not for me. If you're new, come back every day. You won't regret it. Okay, so look, what is the strong coin though? There's still some strong coins in the game. Look at MAP. Up 17% gains for MAP. And honestly, this is funny. I just wanted to point it out. We started getting into MAP down here when I found support for MAP at 0.1 cent and 0.07. And MAP's up like 50% and more. 63 actually, and it was one of the hotter coins today. I went over Anakin. I don't know if you remember anyone me talking about Anakin. Anacum, whatever you want to, Anacum, yeah. Weird, right? But that's what, you know, when we showed you that it was playing around with the 786 Fibonacci level and it would bounce. Yes, this came out. That was just a swing trade. I'm not, you know, and we took it. But the point of the story is, and then it didn't break out of the flag too. So it wasn't an amazing trade here, but this bounced out. Point of the story is it's never really gone lower despite the market. It's been a strong coin and we've been looking at it for a while. We talked about LUNC yesterday, right? I drew this channel when we were here. It did come out, but you could have redrawn this just like so. And it really did stay in the same channel and it continued to break to the upside. So regardless, I mean, LUNC for a beautiful move. And that thing is up a lot from where we looked at it. I'm talking 27%, and right now it's still holding 15% gains for LUNC. So we ordered LUNC yesterday on the live stream in front of everybody here. So you could have been privy to that exact idea. Someone asked me about it. We broke it down. We talked about this too, this eCash, right? And we actually saw it, you know, the way we had it was down here in this falling wedge, right? We talked about the idea that it could break to the upside, and it did. It made about 10%. Of course, gave it back, hit the top of the channel. Now Bitcoin's playing fubbly. So, you know, now you got to worry about the rest of the market. Bitcoin's going to take every market, every coin down. I don't care how many setups we post or whatever you post, whatever you're looking at. Say you post 100 setups like this one. It looks nice. Things are looking okay. If Bitcoin continues to dump, it's going to take everything down. I try to avoid the news, but recently everywhere I look, I'm seeing the WEF trying to restrict food and repression of agriculture. Yeah, it's getting really weird, man. But right now, not right now, Anku. Come on. I know you're upset, and I'm upset too, but we'll do it in the right way. Jiggy Flip, email, cryptolifers. They will get you in, brother. Shout out to everybody here on the live. If you want to jump on in, thanks, brother. Always safe. Got too many people depending on me. Shout out to Timmy313. Timmy, I apologize that you decided to do something that an influencer, you know, you can't, and I say every day, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I do and say here should be taken as financial advice. I could talk about a coin 1 second and it could dump all the way to the downside and go to zero. You know what I mean? You asked me about Bone, and I'm like, Bone and Leech are probably good long-term projects, but maybe we looked at just the Bone chart and it just didn't look good to me. Who knows? You know? And maybe I thought it was another coin at the time. I'm not, you know, I'm not 100% perfect. But at the same time, man, come on. You got to make your own decisions every time in life. Shout out to everybody. Follow me on Twitter. I greatly appreciate it. On our way to 8,000 Twitter followers and more. And I greatly appreciate my team and everybody here and everyone that just follows along. Thank you so much. We're going to have some Twitter segments that are really fun and interesting and fun to do. So I'd like to bring them in if I could in a little while. We're going to do this Twitter segment if I could find it. Not sure if I can find it again, but if possible, no jobs report from the team, right? I was like, any job links. Anybody? Hello. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's take a look at the chat. Shout out to everybody here on the chat. I want you to answer this question. I want you to put in, you know, September is a blank month for Bitcoin. September is a what month for Bitcoin? I want to see what you guys are saying in the chat. September is a blank month for Bitcoin. All right, tell me what you feel, how you feel, and what, you know, I just want to know. September is a blank month for Bitcoin. What do you think? Dark. I have known it to be a nasty, disgusting, horribly dreadful month. All right, dark month, bearish month, dread, a bad month, bad, bearish, moon month, bullish month. Ooh, Rodney Robinson. Perfect month, hammer month, bearish month, unpredictable month, Rectember, bad, historically down. September is moon dream. Felicia, all-time high. Bear month for Bitcoin. Can't answer. I know nothing but my own ignorance. Smartest man in the game, Jamie Ziris. Bearish. September is a dump month. Sexy month. Wow. Dead Game Boxing likes it. Tricky. I will be accumulating. Down traditionally. See, I like how he said it. Traditionally down, but, you know, it kind of leaves fact with anything is open-minded, right? Time to DCA month. Shout out to David Kendall in the game. Pigeon month. Retest month. Consolidate month, right? September is a great month for fishing. Interesting. Smash that like button. Any new Mt. Gox, you know, anyone here getting their Mt. Gox Bitcoin? Is anyone on the live stream a Mt. Gox person? And are you about to dump on us? Let us know. We just want to know if you're about to dump all your Bitcoin all over the market. Let us know if you are. So look, 30-second chart is starting to make a bit of a move here. A buyback at 19,000, right? 750. But We are extremely oversold on the 15. 15's beat to the ground, and that's why you always have to watch, honestly, BOOKMAP. Because BOOKMAP helps you with a little bit of liquidity. Now we're building back some liquidity zones for BOOKMAP. And we're battling kind of back and forth. They still kind of want to clean up down here. 19,500. I wouldn't be surprised if we touch the 19,500 region. It's kind of calling our name, you know. Right now, you got to stay bearish, you know what I'm saying? And as I said before, there's no reason to close, even on this rally here. It was a rally of rallies, but really there was no reason to close the shorts that we had opened at 21,800 area, right? Just no reason, in my humble opinion. You know, until we saw a bigger move, I said until Bitcoin can really get a candle close on the daily or the 4 hour above 20,500, I saw no reason to close the shorts. And you can quote me on saying that, right? Get my whole catastrophic NVA settlement. Interesting. Send in your super chats for a deep dive in TA on the stream. Lifer gives his knowledge 7 days a week to build and teach the lifers worldwide. Wow, that's crazy. CJ Baker. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Let's jump on into the numbers. Shout out to the 800 people on the live. 418 likes. $3.33 in chat revenue. The 33. I love that. That's amazing. All right, so let's get back into some big ideas here. All right. We're going to watch the ES1, number one, to find out where Bitcoin's likely to eventually stop. Let's take a look at the ES1 big boy style. I really want to kind of open it up. Doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. I want to look at it big time, and I want to see like our real big areas, right? But look, we're about to hit our level that I talked about. How did I know we were going there? I've talked about this already in depth, and I talk about it almost every single day. How did I know where the S&P was going? Right? So if you're trading the stock market and you jumped into stocks today and you got absolutely wrecked and rocked, you might have wanted to watch the first 10 minutes of my show every other day, you know, because you would have known a little bit more about the S&P. So this show is for everybody who does anything for anything. If you touch any asset in the world, you're going to want to come here every day. I mean, it is a crypto show and we're full crypto, but we're full crypto because we can understand the history of money. You know what I mean? So look, S&P taking a nasty dump. We're in a recession, everybody. They tried to tell us we weren't. You know we are, right? We're coming out with job numbers. They cannot stop the prices. The prices continue to go up, and they're going to continue. I'm telling you right now to everybody's face, I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. The prices will continue to rise. I don't think we've seen the end yet. I do want to take a look at oil. Oil is going to be a kind of a big deal. When oil finally tops out, that's when we know Bitcoin may actually eventually find a bit of a bottom, right? When oil finally tops out. We're going to look at the DXY too right now. Remember that area we could not get above? And I went over it and over and over it. Looks like we may see some trouble. So let's take a look at the DXY and let's see what's happening for the dollar index. Super important. We're looking at multiple indexes throughout the world, right? And look at this. Could we make this? Are we going to make a possible inverted head and shoulder? Could we bounce from this area back to the upside? There's a chance for the Dow Jones, right? We did make some really strong divergence right now for the Dow. Let me show you. And when you make divergence on the Dow, it's a pretty big deal. You know, crypto is like all day, 24/7, the battles, but the divergence on the Dow is pretty strong. That's bullish divergence in the Dow Jones. We could get a bounce back to the upside here. This could just be a fake rally, you know, trying to fake people out, scare people out, get them really freaked out, get them to sell all their assets off so the big boys can step in and just continue to grind, you know. I'll show you a couple things about the Dow that we're looking at closely here on the channel. First thing we got to do is take this impulse to the top, right? Alt F is going to be your Fibonacci. And like we bounced here. And like actually I would take it from here too. This little impulse. And so we retrace to the 786 in the golden pocket. That's the golden pocket right there. Beautifully on that retracement. So we could even come all the way down to the 0.5 and still be kind of safe at 31.76. 31.716. But we are running out of, you know, last hope. We are running out of hopium. You know what I mean? For the Dow Jones. And we could be double topping too. Come up here, we'll make a double top for the Dow. I mean, Dow has just been, they printed so much money. And now what happens is the more money you print, the more money you have to print. It's similar to, I don't know, like the solar ice caps. It's like an exponential issue. You know what I mean? as we look at BOOKMAP, and we can see more liquidations down here, but we're getting a little lighter in the zone, and we're starting to kind of balance out at 19,800. Seems to be. That was our last place. Remember, the 800s are strong support for whatever reasons. You have your 1,000s, your 500 areas, and your 800 areas. I've seen it many, many times in my life as big areas of support and resistance, right? All right, let's zoom back in here and show you what I see happening. All right. Get rid of that. It was a crazy projection, too, for the most part. But right now, we're oversold on the daily time frame. You know, you're expecting a bit of a bounce here. And so you're going to look at your support and resistance areas. And look, previous resistance, getting a bounce. So you're expecting a bounce for the Dow Jones, for sure, on the daily time frame. So we're getting milled. Like, this is bad news, but you could get a bounce here. And the thing, like I said before, we do not want to break back inside of this pattern. Bad news, when you have a falling wedge and you break out of it, you do not want to end up down in here. So we're going to be watching the Dow, but if we end up in here, that's going to be troublesome because then this top trend line is going to be an issue. So it's a really strong area of support and resistance. We want to see if it can hold here for the Dow Jones. We're ahead. The Dow Jones seems to be ahead of Bitcoin and the S&P. It kind of took its leap first. It dumped first. Then the Bitcoin, is the Dow Jones front running the S&P and Bitcoin? There's a bit of a chance here, and I don't see many people talk about it. All right. So look, here's our dollar index that we go over every day and all the time, right? So here. So I had my green zone and we went over it and I said we can't break above this green zone. We cannot. So interesting. We got a major dump here, right? But we didn't get a major pump in the dollar index. We got a bit of we got a bit of a candle, but not a major. We got a bit of a candle, but it wasn't like it was like a slaughter fest. You know what I mean? It did pump though. Of course, it's going to pump when Bitcoin dumps. The idea is, can we stay below my green area? Can we stay below this area here at 109.33? So we are expecting a bounce on the 4-hour. It's showing you that it wants to bounce back to the upside. It's very oversold. What we want is just some sideways behavior. We want to make this a Bart Simpson. This is a top. This is a top. We want this to double top. And we want these two to double top. So far, it's not the worst thing in the world. And the daily is getting overbought. So honestly, it's showing like this may be some really good signs to buy up some BTC, in my humble opinion. So I'm personally going to buy up some more Bitcoin today. It's going to be a good idea. I'll show my buy to the group, exactly what I buy on Discord. I'll keep it to my Discord group. But I'll show them exactly how much Bitcoin I buy. And you know what? I just keep stacking BTC. If we go to 9,000, 10,000, I only lose 50% of whatever I buy right now. And I'm only buying $500 to $1,500 chunks at this point. I look at my fear and greed index and I buy Bitcoin depending on that. So like right now, the fear and greed index, I want to take a look at it. I want to see it below 20. I want to see it in the teens. That's when I really open up. And then when I see it, if I ever get it to 12, below 12 is when I take the $500 buys and they go to 1,000. My $1,500 buys go to 3,000. I go to 8, 6, 7, and 8 on the fear and greed index, and that's when those $500 buys turn into $1,500, and that's when the $1,500 buys turn into $4,500. So I have a whole idea of how I use my money in allocation. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. You do whatever makes you happy, but I allocate into Bitcoin depending on how this fear and greed index works. And you want the whole world to laugh at you when you're buying Bitcoin, everyone should think you're nuts. People should say you're buying a dead asset. You have no idea what you're doing. You're a fool. And you know what? You do whatever makes you happy, but I remember the days buying Bitcoin at 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 when people were laughing at me, calling me a fool. And lo and behold, they eventually came for tutoring. The same people that thought I was crazy would ask me for advice and be like, wow, this is amazing. That's humbling, getting made fun of by people that eventually ask you for advice and then not turning those people away, being like, you know what? I know you made fun of me, but you didn't understand. You know what I mean? And that's the true test of like who you are. Like, are you going to be like, oh no, I'm better than you. I knew it. Now get away from me. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Now you want to do that. I'll be honest. You feel that way at times. I'll be honest. I'm alone in a room. I was like, oh yeah, you people, I'll show you. I'm never going to tell you what, But then I sat there and I was like, you know what? Is that who I want to be? Do I want to let that same fear that they had control me? And I say, no, not going to happen. So that's kind of why we do what we do here on the channel every single day, Let's get back into the chat. I want to do something fun with the chat here. Interact with the chat. We're going to do some trivia. Okay. What mountain range is the cryptolifer in today? Am I in today? What mountain range is the cryptolifer in today? Let's see. What mountain range is the cryptolifer in today? Might as well have some fun with the chat today. You know what I'm saying? We might as well have some fun with the chat. Shout out to everybody here on the chat. 830 people, 462 likes. Appreciate each and every one of you for jumping on in. Let's get the likes up to the lifers. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we got to keep pumping those likes, and we get to 1,000 people. We won't get these dips and these whips. We'll get flipping and flying. All right? Now, look, if you're looking at the world markets and you're trying to figure out where Bitcoin's going, you got to watch the S&P 500. And look, we whipped right to my area. Very, very close. See this? And then now we can change the tune here. So look, we're going to get rid of this. We got the head and shoulder out of here. The rising wedge broke to the downside. You can kind of, that's been done. And you want to rebuild. Like after big moves, you want to begin to rebuild. I'm going to leave this on for now. You know, that's like our remnants of our last idea. But this is how we're able to track the price action. By not slipping every single day. It takes constant focus to be on point. You take even a couple days off, a couple hours off, and you miss a beat. I'm telling you right now, you miss a beat. Even I could have even been more on point. But last night I took the family to dinner. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it is, you know. Tahoe, Appalachian, Pacific, the Blue Ridge Mountains. God bless you, lifer. Hardest working man in the business. Shout out to Timothy313. Thank you, man. I love you, man. I'm happy you said that. It's all love now. Appalachian Mountains. Coal territory, hence the chlorine tasting water. Oh, man. Appa, J. Cole, you guys are awesome. I grew up backpacking the Blue Ridge. Emery Thomason. That's so awesome, man. You must have had a really good life. People that spend a lot of time in the mountains, the mountains are just gorgeous. So look, $32,000 in liquidations happening here. At this fat liquidity zone, we have a lot of buy up here. So 19,500, 19,006, I'm expecting a bit of a bounce for Bitcoin. How big of a bounce, we should find out. And look, if we look at this idea here, we do kind of on this trajectory, bounce. Expect for some type of bounce here for the ES1 back to the upside. But nasty dump in the world markets, nasty dump. Could it be the ricochet of China and the world recession? But that's why you see the thumbnail today. Recession, grows, man. And anyone who tells you we're not in a recession, I mean, look at the prices and look at people not want to work. Look at the lack of work. It's just, we're in a funky place. You know what I mean? We're definitely in a funky place. Here's the time to get education. This is the time where people who get educated about real estate, about world markets, about investing, take the most advantage. All right? When everyone else is freaking out, running around in heavy fear, you want to take advantage of the world market. So like the trading group too, sometimes people think a trading group should be all about gains every moment. Yes, I would love it to be constant gains. And when the market's awesome and when there is gains, there's gains. But at the same time, a trading group is more too a school to understand, to try to figure out what's happening in the world markets, where we're at, how things have changed. You kind of just like put things in perspective for yourself. You know what I mean? And to have like a group of people that aren't getting brainwashed and really can balance your thoughts. So job openings hold firm at 11 million, while consumer confidence picks up. The labor market continues to remain strong in the face of a slow economy. So the number of job openings was largely unchanged in July, with a notch more than 11 million open positions, the Labor Department reported on Tuesday. This report will do little to convince policymakers that the labor market is cooling off significantly as the Federal Reserve hikes interest rates and the economy shows signs of retrenchment. First-time claims for the unemployment benefits have risen from their lows of early September, and companies reporting putting a hold on some of their hiring plans. So unemployment begins to rise in claims. Job openings increased in transportation, warehousing, and utilities. So here's the deal. We got a little bit of resurgence because people are starting to travel again. You know what I mean? You have more people coming out of their holes that they were in due to, COVID, So the group Lifer has created is so much more than just trading. It's a family. It's a way of life. We would love to have you join us. Link to join the Discord under the video now. Source, Trust Me, Bro, by Joe. I'm in Catskill Mountains in the New York at the moment. Shout out to Michael Cush up in the Catskills. Yeah. I'm in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. The White Mountains, the Shenandoah Valley. No, I'm in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Unbelievable. If you look at the Kangamangas Highway, right? I'm probably never spelling it correctly. But the Kangamangas Highway, this thing, unbelievable. And, yeah. And you just look out like, oh yeah, the food was good too. But the views and man. And it was just beautiful. It was absolutely. We took a hike yesterday to Lonesome Lake, and it was not an easy hike at all. Like the Kangamangas, that's what it is. The Kangamangas River, unbelievable. Kangamangas River, Kangamangas Highway. Sorry, I call it the river. And there's just these. It's gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful highways you'll ever drive in your life. I don't know. And you see, this is just. And then they call this Franconia Notch, right? As you drive through. Franconia Notch is just unreal. This is just like, it's unbelievable. You drive through this and it just looks like it's breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking. I was gasping as I was driving. I was like, you see this ridge on either side of you, and like as you drive, you're like driving into the face of a mountain. This is Echo Lake right here, and you can swim. You can come right in here and just come in, and you don't even have to hike. You can just, there's a parking lot right here, and you can just swim in this beautiful lake. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, you see this as you come up above it, Franconia Notch, Mount Washington area, White Mountains. Sorry to bring it up, but it's unbelievable. All right. Anyway, shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. 491 people on the live stream, 820 likes. Thank you for jumping on. Everyone's in shock. The market's like, what? People don't believe that you can make money in a bear market, but trust and believe the lifers know that there is always money to be made. We can even get a nice recovery bounce here to the upside. Let's take a look back at Bitcoin as the ES1 may be trying to attempt to bounce here on the 1 hour time frame. Now you get the divergence. See, you're always looking for divergence. Swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down, right? And even if it's not a big pump, you're going to get some type of relief rally. The idea is, do you just get rejected now? So now you're looking, you could come bearishly retest again. Come right up and just bearishly retest again. Could happen. Or do you break back above? So that's the idea. You know what I'm saying? But we see bullish divergence on the ES1, which tells us that Bitcoin may begin to stop the bleeding. Let's take a look at the massive dump for Bitcoin that happened today on the live stream. We watched it live today, the dumpage. The massive dumpage for BTC. And look at that, lo and behold. Rising wedges break to the downside 68% of the time. Top of the bigger channel. And the 4 hour was very overbought, right? And honestly, what scares me now is the 4 hour still has a lot of momentum and is just getting started. So whenever you see a massive green candle, right, and the 4 hours just getting started here, it's usually a good sign. Whenever you see a massive red candle and the 4 hours just getting started, it's usually a bad sign for more downside. So right now, I would remain bearish, right? There would be no reason to close those shorts that we opened at 21,800, in my humble opinion. Still short. Like, I just had, still short. And look, we're on this 30-second chart just watching Bitcoin, honestly. And to me, we're just continuously making these bearish patterns. Did you guys eat already? You did? Where did you eat? What? You had bagels? Oh, you didn't go out to dinner yet? Are you going to go to dinner now? Where's everyone else? All right. So swing down and swing down. Look, we do have some divergence on the 30-second chart, but it's not, it's funny. I've never looked at the 30-second, but lately when there's a massive dump, and look, there is a swing down to swing down, swing up to swing up, you're getting some bullish divergence on the 30-second. How strong is that? I've never really backtested the 30-second. I'll be honest with everyone here. I'm experimenting with each and every one of you are at any given moment in time, looking for different ideas, thoughts, and processes, right? So look, how do you take advantage of these dumps? How do you take advantage of these moves? And I use 3S tokens. A lot of other people. Now, there's people in my trading group who will teach you many different things. Some people are going to be, you got to watch my trading group. It's like high school. Like you're walking through the halls and there's different people doing different stuff. And if you're not sure, you don't want to just pick up on everybody else's strategy. Like there's people that do use the 1 minute and the 5 minute in my group and they're scalping with leverage. Even though I don't really condone it, it's not what I teach. They are using strategies that are sound in technical analysis. And they are being disciplined about it. And if that's what you do every day, it's what you do. You know what I mean? Like I may be a surfer and I may say, hey, I don't do the 10-foot waves near the rocks. Like, I don't think it's a good look. But like, if you're skilled enough, then you can go do that. It's up to you. It's just not my, And so my risk tolerance is different than other people's, Send in your super chats for TAs and deep dive. Support the Lifer live stream as knowledge 7 days a week to build and teach the Lifer family worldwide. Thank you for coming on in. Just back from North Carolina. Had a blast driving every day. More beauty. Oh man, it is just absolutely gorgeous. So look, I mean, this is now making another bear flag to the downside. S&P is attempting to stop the bleeding. But again, 19,500 is our next liquidity zone for Bitcoin. This could continue to dump here, 19,007. About to drive through the crazies in Montana. Part of my yearly road trip, 99 cup and handles. That's amazing. He's funny. He knew exactly what I was talking about in the group. Like, you're funny. So look, it's simple too. You look at BTC, USD all-time history index, and you take a deep breath. We'll delete everything here, and we just look as a team. Another thing that I was talking about too was the 3-day chart, right? And I love trading that 3-day. And the 3-day was very overbought, and it was telling us it was going to come to the downside. 3 days looking like it wants to make this beautiful double bottom here. So just, you know, it's not all bad. Like everyone's always focused on just, it's horrible, you know? 3-day was in a rising wedge. It broke to the downside. But now look, the 3 days in a falling wedge. So just, you'd rather be in a falling wedge than a rising wedge, right? Closer to the bottom than the top. So I'm just showing you my beloved 3-day chart. And we're kind of at the base of liquidity. Really don't have much, you know. The only next stop is this notch here. Can the 3-day hold us down, you know? 4-day suggests possibly more pain. 5-day, the weekly is just getting started too, you know. But it could bend. I've seen the weekly bend here and do something like this. The daily is getting very oversold. So, and it could get pinned there for a while. You know, we've seen that before. But, you know, generally speaking, the probability of the daily is that, you know, you're attempting to try to get a bit of a bounce here. I did talk about the fact that this was hidden bullish divergence, but it's so slight. All right. And I'm not a moon boy. And I'm not like, oh, we have to go up to the upside. I'm cool if we go to 10K. I just want to make that really clear. I'm cool if we go all the way down to 10K. Like, there's nothing wrong with going down. All right. We can make money up or down. Do not be upset which way the market goes. All right. Just be upset if you aren't learning and getting educated with how to trade the market both ways. To me, that's the only thing. And honestly, never get upset. But tell yourself that if you don't have the knowledge, you're not going to be able to have the skills. So skills, you know, the education creates the skill creates the result. So you need to have actions, and you can't take actions without skills, and you need education to create the skill. So, you know, and don't beat yourself up about anything. Just know that that is what it is in life. And you want to, so you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards, in my humble opinion, too. You know, 12 hours getting oversold too and wants to dump to the downside. So it's likely you're heading down, in my humble opinion. I would wait for the 4 hour to finish. 4 hours getting very oversold and dumping. It's just beginning its dump. Just beginning its dump. And you could not get above this area. So what you could do here is look. That's your bear flag. That's pretty much, you could take that as the measured move and just, and that's going to coincide with the bottom of the pattern. Just like that. Next stop, 18,986, in my humble opinion. Highly likely. Unless you double bottom here and you get a bounce off 19,500. So you either bounce off 19,500 or you're going down to 18,008, you know. So you got a lot more room on these stokes to come to the downside, all right? And we haven't really made any patterns that I can pick up on yet to trade on, you see? Unless we just get a rapid V-shaped recovery here back to the upside, you know, which could be a liquidity grab. But at the same time, I mean, and what you want to do is you want to look left now and you want to set your local support and resistance, which we already knew that what they were, but you just want to rebrand that. So I'm just showing you how to kind of build your ideas so you can be there for your next move, okay? So here, you have resistance now for Bitcoin at 19,893. You have resistance for Bitcoin at 20,121. These are heavy resistance areas. You see what I'm saying? And that's it. So like if Bitcoin can't get above these two zones, continue to short the market. Simple as that. For me, Once you kind of do your thing, like you go from one bottom of your chart to the next top of your chart, it's just likely you're going to head down to here. So you play the chart, and the charts, that's pattern trading 101. The more comfortable you get at pattern trading, the more you understand. But you just stay open-minded for the possible double bottom. So you either double bottom here or you don't. And right now, I mean, there's just like, you know, there's really no other channel. Everyone's going to be like, kind of running around with their head cut off. Bitcoin dumping now, attempting to do some V-shaped recovery. To me, it just, you know. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start to actually do what I do normally. I'm going to flag out. And the idea is you're going to probably dump to the downside. See that? And that takes you right there. 19,050. Yeah, 19K. All right. So this is most likely, and just like when I'm in a bull, right? I'm bullish. I'm like, all right, so we're going to watch this flag. So just like earlier today, we said we're going to watch this flag play out. If the flag decides to drop, then we're going to trade the market bearishly, right? Same idea here. So you're going to watch this flag, but we're upside down. Same thing. So I do the same thing bullish that I do bearish. It's the same exact stuff that I'm doing either way. You just flip it, right? You just got to be able to look at it the right way properly, okay? No matter what. No matter what. Now, this is not easy, right? And there's really no other way to know where Bitcoin's going to go. I don't care anyone out here on the market. Test me on it. Like, you know. But again, there was a very likelihood this was going to happen based on the 4-hour being overbought, based on being at the top of the channel, and the 1-hour bearish divergence. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the Super Chat. Thank you so much for a Super Chat. You people are amazing. People tighten up on these bearish days, but it's all good. The money flows, you know. We've had $500 Super Chats. We've had huge Super Chats, so it balances out over time. What I like about Flux is this. Look, we got into Flux at what? 60 cents. 60 cents. You get it? You get me? And Flux went all the way to 120. I sold off at 98. Now I was looking for the buyback. The buyback was the 78, 79, 88 area, right? Bang. So get back into Flux. And then we took that. We actually traded that, if you remember correctly. It was like this. We called that for a move, and we nailed that. Now we're kind of rewatching Flux, and we're showing you. I'm showing you what I'm looking at here. Flux is in a bit of a flag, okay? And honestly, compared to the rest of the market, Flux is looking great. Doesn't really care about Bitcoin. And I'm telling everyone, stay positive. These Bitcoin dips happen, but a lot of these coins don't have as much liquidity as Bitcoin, so they just can't even dip as much as Bitcoin. Then once they find their own TA and their support and resistance, they fly. So Flux is still on the radar for some hot moves. And honestly, the Bitcoin dips is just creating an opportunity to get down into Flux. So there's always opportunity in the market. You just have to be able to stay level-headed, be cool, and find it. When you bug out, when you freak out, or when you do a lot of the wrong things and you have a lot of bad trades open, it gets in your head. You don't know what's going on. You're freaking out. So look, Bitcoin's high on the 4-hour, but Flux is not. Flux is actually looking quite scrumptious. So I like what I'm seeing for Flux. Flux is looking beautiful, right? Did the fam bring us leftovers? She said the place was closed. All they got was bagels. Roddy Robinson wanted some food, babe. She said, Roddy, you're the chef. Why don't you cook it up? So look, Flux is looking very bullish to me. 4-hour highly likely to break to the upside. This is bullish. And honestly, nobody cares. You still have 100 million locking up their Flux. You have a lot of moves in Flux. So I believe Flux, if Bitcoin makes a bit of a gain or eventually, and people just don't care. People are going to get sick of Bitcoin and it's flopping around. At one point, they're going to be like, okay, 10K to 9K Bitcoin. Okay. And they're still going to trade the altcoins. I'm telling you right now. Shout out to everybody here on the live stream. Hey, Lifer, want to check out STG high volume rising wedge breakdown out of a giant bull flag? Could be a bounce scalp. Would be fascinated by your thoughts. Shout out to Ricky. Send in a super chat, Ricky. I would greatly appreciate it. I would be fascinated by your super chat. Sorry, that was funny, but I was just trying to be, hey. The kid's got a mouth over here. So look, I'm oversold in the daily. I'm oversold in the 4-hour. I'm oversold in the 1-hour. And I'm ready to go in the 15-minute. Flux is looking like a beautiful trade to me. Flux, baby, Flux. So look, if I was going to trade anything, trade of the day is Flux for me personally. And again, Bitcoin could take this to the downside. Bitcoin could drop even more. Flux could just continue to dump to the downside. However, it's highly unlikely. Tight moving averages. Bit of a Sammy cup and hattie inside of the chart. Let me show you what I mean. Is that a cup and handle? No. He didn't. He's not drawing a cup. Is he? He's out of his mind. Is he really charging $99 to draw cup and handles? That guy's out of his mind. Freaking. Shout out to Jordan, man. Hey, man. They know not what they do. You know what I'm saying? May God bless them all. So look at this. And that's what I've realized. I just have to be patient and passionate for everyone, no matter who. Because they're not, they don't understand. They haven't been given the grace that I may have been presented with, you know? So look at the testimonials I get every day. Like, honestly, those are alone. Those are like, man, I look at the whole world and I'm like, if the whole world got testimonials like this, the world would be an amazing place. Like, that's a blessing. So look, I am very bullish on Flux, going up 76% gains for Flux. So I like what I'm seeing for Flux. And, Flux is on the radar as the hot coin of the day. So if I would trade anything today, I believe it's Flux. Look, I'm writing stop loss in there. There you go. And this is why people come to the channel. It doesn't matter what's happening. I'm going to find something that looks scrumptious. I'm going to find higher probability ideas. So look, Flux is looking really, really good to me. Flux on the radar, right? And honestly, there's not going to be a lot of big gains today. Today's a day when the market dumps and you just got to and this is going to be tough. The next, this is trading 101. Not every single day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be sunshine, all right? But it's about getting through these hard times, staying mentally positive, not making tons of big mistakes, and preserving capital. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but you must preserve capital. A human being must preserve what they have, their resources. So preserve your capital at all times. And Flux is probably the strongest coin right now because it's being held up by all the people who are staking it. Just like I put out recently. That's why we're still up 50% on Flux since I really first started getting into it and I started tweeting about it. Flux, man. So Flux is my new phantom. It's my new love, and it's been a strong coin. Flux is the new stable coin right now. Watch it dump to the downside. And again, I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not a magician, and I'm not a psychic. Flux could dump all the way back down to 50, 60 to 10 cents, all the way to this low liquidity zone. Anything could happen for Flux. So just be open-minded too. Understand that all I am is a man that goes over probability, and I tend to have a highly accurate idea because I do it every day. But at the same time, there's no guarantees of anything, And so look, the short for ETH could it be made some more gains here on the 1 hour scale. But look at that 4 hours. So this is kind of right where it was before. Look at this. This is interesting. So if Bitcoin continues to dump, this is going to continue to pump. So look, that's a breakout. And then this is pattern trading 101 to the upside. That'd be another 42% gains on the short for ETH. It's right at resistance. It breaks above the POC. This is a really good place to trade it. Hold on, look at this. Oh, that was a POC if you just looked at that area. So look at this. I mean, it's in an uptrend. Has resistance, bit of a shoulder, head and shoulder, sloppy head and shoulder, but it's in a falling wedge in the 4 hour time frame. 1 hour is getting overbought, so it's not the time to get in. So look, this is what I'm doing. I believe ETH could be the big short. I mean, Bitcoin, this could be the big short for Bitcoin back down to 16,000, 15,000, right? You don't want to miss it out because when it happens fast, and you only have so much to take advantage of the shorts, right? You don't want to be, urgency is important here. So look, just like we flag out, and just like I look at my other stuff. So look, now I put an alert here in the middle. I don't want to miss it. I put an alert here at the bottom. I don't want to miss it. I put an alert right here. Alt V, and I actually alert this line too. And now I'm ready for this no matter what, right? And I want to watch this like a hawk, all right? And so ETH short. So I'm watching the ETH short for possibly 40% gains out of this flag. So the flag would fill out. We would get in when the 15-minute resets, or maybe the 1 hour resets to the downside. 15-minute might do 1 or 2 oscillations. So this is an idea that I'm picking up here. So look, now you're gonna see that in a bull run, I'm popping out 20, 30 trades, right? Or maybe even one day I'm popping out 10, 15 setups and things that I'm looking at. And just boom, 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 boom. In this type of market, I'm being super selective. And I'm like a cobra. It's like the wintertime. You know what I mean? It's like when a bear or a fox, right? In the summertime, there's animals everywhere for the fox. But when the winter comes out, the fox has to dig deep and find hibernate, and like it's not as easy. And so similar thing, this is the winter time. These are the bear markets for us trading foxes and trading wolves. And we're trying to find that meat and potatoes, and we're going to have to dig a little deeper through the snow to get it to it, but we're going to get to it. By golly gee oh my, we're going to get to it. So I have a thought process here that there could be massive more gains out of the E-short. We already took it on the last 4 hour. 4 hours ready to go again. It did break out. Bitcoin is bearish on the 4 hour time frame. Bitcoin has its move back to the bottom of the channel. So look, if Bitcoin's going to drop the channel, we flip this upside down. And by using Alt-I, you're going to really see what's going on. Bitcoin dropping down is the same as this dropping back to the upside. So we inverse channels to inverse our brains, to flip the thought process, to get to the next level. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. So ETH short is on the mind. Watching the 15-minute, and this is like I'm using my trading style to teach you so much. And this is how we can create gains in a sketchy market, by being precise, but we must be precise. And the 1 hour here. Want the price to build a flag. And to build a flag means to fill out my price action, right? That's what we're looking for. We want price action to build a flag, right? So we can potentially move back to the upside here. So watching this ETH short, price builds the flag. Then we can, when we come back down and we're oversold in the 15 and the 1 hour, bang, bang, bang. 4 hour still has momentum. So that's why. See, when the 4 hour has that much momentum, I'm like, I don't want to, I'm like, well, I got to find my entry now on that pathway to the upside. But I don't want to get in when I shouldn't. I want to be precise with it. I backtested these theories and figured all this stuff for years. And I'm giving you my special sauce live on this live stream, which I really shouldn't. This is for the traders in my trading group. But I've been feeling bad for people in these bear markets, so I've been giving a little more extra sauce lately just because the bear runs. And when Bitcoin dumps hard, I give a little more special sauce because I know there's a lot of people out there just really not knowing what the heck to do and have no idea how to trade a market up or down and have no clue. So I'm using my alert system. And again, E3S will play out. All the other shorts will play out. Phantom 3S, right? So you want to look, and if we look at Phantom 3S, we should see the same similar idea. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so look, we're in this upward channel. We'll bring this down. We're at the bottom of the channel. We were projecting a short earlier with the bearish divergence there, right? You never know which way it's going to, I mean, the pullback on the short. But there was bearish divvy. So this is now since broke out, right? And it's actually at a resistance point. So here you're looking for this to possibly retest and make a flag here. So you're just drawing this flag out. And that would be a beautiful entry. And it's a bit of a cup and handle too. Look at that. Sammy cup and handy to the upside. Can you trade Phantom 3S for massive gains? I mean, if this is how, we got to get ready. Bitcoin looks like it may go on its next dump, its next level there. It's not looking too strong right now. And if it doesn't find a double bottom or doesn't make a big move, it's going to continue. And the 4 hour looking bearish. So this is how we take advantage of that. And honestly, this could continue all the way up to the top of the channel. But right now, I'm watching, I'm watching this as well. We're watching that. We want to watch this flag fill out. We want to see price action come back down on the 15-minute. All right. Now, most 3S's you should be able to apply this same sauce to and be able to make some gains. You know, if you've never been in the trading group, you should try this. I personally, you do whatever you want. I personally would try this with a small amount of money. If it plays out, then you're like, wow, well, maybe the trading group might be worth, you know what I'm saying? So like, amazing. And a huge testimonial just came in too as well from the psychedelic catfish, man. That's unreal. I just glazed over it and the words were just blowing my mind. So thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that. Let's get back into Bitcoin and see if the dump, so I'm just showing you how to take advantage of Bitcoin. These are the trades I'm looking to play. when this flag continues to dump to the downside. Thank you, Porter. I love you, man. My team is such a nice, beautiful group of people. They're just awesome. They really are. Yeah, I don't know how I could do it. Interesting. Weird. I'll have to set this up another time. I didn't know there was. I thought it was one. You should make this a whole one video file in a row, man. It can't be that many files. You know what I mean? It's got to be one whole video file for me. I can't load 10 files. You know what I mean? You got to load that into a timeline and then export that out for me. So I have one video file. You get me? That makes sense? We'll try one right now just to see how it plays out. We'll try one right now real fast. Everyone, I want to do this new Twitter segment, which is really fun and interesting, but I got to want to make sure I do it correctly. Let's see here. I want to go over your tweets because we're getting a lot of interaction with people and it's been really fun. So we want to go over your tweets and we want to do it in a fun, professional manner on the show. And so we've been working on a way to bring in the tweets, and we think we have found a way. All right, but we just want to make sure it's doing its thing. Yeah, this also is a problem. There we go. So there we have that tweet, right? But, oh yeah, so now I also need to put on like a chroma key filter on that, right? Play the intro first. Yeah, it's not gonna happen now. It's impossible. You know what I mean? I believe we need a chroma key or a color key. Green. Let's see. No, it takes up the whole screen. It's not transparently done. I don't think maybe I could take the black out. Yeah, I don't think it's done right, my man, for me to do correctly. It's awesome. It looks great. I like that. If I put it below my camera, we could do it like this. You know what I mean? This is kind of cool, right? I can't read it, however, because my eyesight's so bad. So I can't read it personally. I can't read the tweets. I'm going to have the tweets given to me beforehand in a list, because I can't personally read those. I have to lean in. I did the same, but I didn't leave a law. It'll mess me up. So this is great. We tried it out, but we're going to have to work on that. It's not going to work so well. Also, look at that corner of me out there. Let me get that out. I didn't see that this whole time. But we could do it. This looks cool. And we're going to go over each of your tweets, and it'll be fun. And we're going to do it like this, like, oh, look at that. And we'll play the whole video, you know. But yeah, I can't have like 10 files, man. You know what I mean? All right. All right, cool. So we'll get into this. This is going to be a fun thing. But again, we can't do it right now. All right. And let me get out of this. I don't know how I get this thing out of here. Where the hell is this thing? There it is. All right. All right. Thank you for bearing with me, everybody. Appreciate that. You know, so we will be able to go over your tweets. It'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a blast doing that. Shout out to the $10.32 in chat revenue on the day with Bitcoin dumps. People just like freaking out. You know what I mean? But look, the dollar index didn't break above the zone here. It's not all bad. You know what I mean? Fine. You know, we're following the S&P. We got the S&P dump, and Bitcoin's following that as well. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? But there's money to be made here in this market. Let's get ready to look at those shorts. Ethereum 3S. Flux looks good to me. So I like Flux. I like Ethereum 3S. I like Phantom 3S. So I'm keeping my head about me. I'm keeping my wits about me. And I'm staying focused. I do have to cut the stream a little short today because I want to take my family to breakfast. And I'm actually at an Airbnb that I have to leave at 12:30. So it's 11:39 right now. So I am going to leave so I can set up and begin to break down my setup and begin to travel. I do have to travel today. I'll be back in the studio at my home studio tomorrow, today by 4 o'clock. So we'll be able to go over stuff. I'll be updating, and I'll have my crew with me too as well. So shout out to everybody here on the live. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll be back tomorrow for another awesome live stream. Expect me as soon as possible. But I gave you my special sauce, everything that I'm looking at, everything that I'm thinking about, exactly how to track Bitcoin right now. Watch the 5-minute, draw this flag, right? Your new resistance is here, right here below where you couldn't get above the flag. So if Bitcoin can't break above 19,900, continue to short the market. So if you don't see a 4-hour candle close above 19,009, even a 1-hour candle close at this point, I would continue to short the market. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor and do your own due diligence before getting into any project, coin, or trade. I'm the Crypto Lifer. My name is Sam Price. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for another amazing live stream, and I usually go all the way till 12. I apologize for cutting it short today, but I do live a life. I'm a real human being, and some days it just is what it is. Super Chat's OP. We'll take a look at your Super Chat for OP, USDT. OP was also on our radar as a nice one, looking really good on the daily time frame. Let's see if it still held the zone that we liked about it. It was in a cup and handle on the daily. Let's take a look at it. OP is actually double bottoming and it's still holding our zone. I mean, we had that resistance here in this nice support zone at 96 and it held. Went up to 110, came back. It's holding $1. To me, that's psychological support for optimism, holding above a bean, and it really wants to push up on that daily time frame. It still has the bullish divergence, the hidden bullish. That really is still confirmed because you have a swing low to swing low. And here, I mean, that is sharply swinging to the downside, right? So I'm still bullish on this, and it really is staying above $1. So optimism is still very bullish on the daily time frame. Very bullish on the daily. However, let's take a look at the 5. Yeah, see that 4-hour needs to dump on you. See the whole market likely going to follow Bitcoin. So it's looked like optimism it got rejected here, and it does want to come back to the downside. We need to see a miraculous move for Bitcoin here on the 1-hour time frame. Some push to the upside like we've never seen, and that'll take the whole market back up. You know, let me take a look at BTC right before I get out of here. So, yeah, I mean, we could definitely double bottom here. You know, you always have to be open-minded for that idea at 19,500, right? And that could end the carnage. Anything could happen. You know, for me, these are still great places to be gobbling up and DCing into Bitcoin. Humbly. I'm not a financial advisor, but these are great places to be humbly gobbling up some BTC, you know? So, and if we look here at the 15-minute and the 1-hour, we're expecting a bit of a bounce. How big the bounce is the question. And that's why I'm staying on these smaller time frames to see where the lows of the low could go. They need to show us some type of double bottom, some type of inverted head and shoulders on these small time frames to stop the pain. Just like right there, you know what I mean? We were dumping. Eventually, we got the inverted head and shoulder there. And it was short-lived, but at least we got it. So we're looking for these signs, and that's why we're sitting here on the 5, on the 1 minute with these flags open, because this is just continuing to dump. Right? There's really no reason why this won't continue to dump. We do see some strong bullish divergence now here on the 1 minute time frame, but it's just the 1 minute. But hey, there is some bullish divergence here on the 1 minute. Could stop the carnage too as well at 19,700. We could stay in the flag, and this could be the V-shaped recovery back to the upside. Anything is possible. Watch this area for BTC. All right, if we don't get a candle to close above 19,900, 19,008 on the 4-hour time frame, I would expect more downside. The 4 hours also pressing down on you on the stochastics RSI. Likely we come on down and we hit the top of a channel. So, but anything is possible. We'll stay open-minded for you. We'll keep you updated throughout the day in the Discord and in the group. I also have some updates and some coins that I'm looking at. Also have an elite traders that are going to be scanning the market through the day. And if they see anything, they will be posting anything at your beck and call. So for $3 a day, you have so many people working for you, keeping you updated and keeping you going. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life. Peace, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.